The Puritans. The people in the New England were English Puritans. The Puritans came over to the New World in search of religious freedom. They believed that the Church of England was too powerful and they wanted to change it. But when they tried, they were outcast. So they sailed across the Atlantic Ocean in hopes of building a new society of their own. So Puritans, those are that's like a specific type of Christianity. That's like a certain type of religion. So they wanted religious freedom. We've talked about religious freedom before, meaning that they could worship, they could believe in what they wanted to believe in, right? They felt like the church in England was too powerful, told them what they should believe in or how they should worship, and they wanted to change it. So they decided to move to a new place. So in 1630, about 800 Puritans left England. 1 year later, 200 Puritans didn't survive that first terrible winter. Many died from illness, disease, or harsh weather. Another 200 returned to England to seek safety back home. This is kind of like the story that we're used to, right? When the first people came over, unfortunately, they didn't realize how hard it was to survive because of the weather, because of illness, because of food. Right? So not very many people actually stayed at first. With only half of their population, the Puritans needed more people to keep their colony in working order. However, they didn't just want anyone. They wanted people who believed the same things that they did. They believed in the Bible as God's word, and they also valued hard work. Most people worked hard from sunrise until sunset. They held town meetings to discuss businesses, town issues, and religion. They enforced strict punishments on people who didn't follow their rules or simply banned them from their settlement. So one thing that I will say here is I find it kind of funny that these people left England because they felt like the church was too powerful and they couldn't believe in what they wanted to believe, and then they get over here and what do? They do the same thing. If people didn't want to believe in how they believed or didn't want to follow their rules, they kicked them out. So they're kind of doing the exact same thing that they just left, only with slightly different beliefs, right? But they were very hard workers, and Roger Williams and Anne Hutchinson were two of the Puritans who shared different views about religion and were forced to leave the colony. Many people followed Roger Williams and Anne Hutchinson to establish new colonies. These became the colonies of Rhode Island and Connecticut. So we talked about those. You just saw the picture at the top of the 4 colonies, right? So they started their own colonies within the New England colonies, Rhode Island and Connecticut, because they didn't share the exact same views as some of the Puritans that first came there. Over the next several years, thousands of Puritans arrived in Massachusetts Bay. They spread inland, meaning away from the water, away from the coast, and settled along the Atlantic coast as well. By 1679, many of them had moved north and started the colony of New Hampshire. As the colonies grew, so did the need for them to unite to protect themselves. So they started off in Massachusetts, and then they spread. We know that the Rhode Island and Connecticut were separated, and then also New Hampshire was a new colony. So they started off in just one place, and then it kind of grew and grew. But then they realized they really needed to come together. They needed to be unified to help protect themselves, not only from the other settlers from England, but also from Native Americans, from the Spanish, from the French. There was a lot of threat. So what you're going to do now is you're going to look at the bottom of this page and answer a couple of questions based on what we just read.